Mine started already.
Good morning, uh, Brad here.
Dobro Ronku, Bas here.
Well, seeing as how we have this time and we're in a war zone and it's winter, there's only so many things we can do. And this is one of them. So we get together and have coffee and discuss the wartime in the winter.
Yeah, and to be honest, this is to stop me from shopping. I did.
Oh, yeah, he's an epicenter addict. I am
Oh,
too, but he's much worse than me because he has a family and that justifies everything.
yeah,
It's kind of like in between what we have, a Home Depot and a Lowe's. They have a little of everything, and now I even see they have food inside there.
yeah, and the toy section and the military section, which my daughter loves the most because they have these dead animals. They I
Oh,
forgot the word.
stuffed animals?
Yes, she likes
Yes,
to
taxidermist.
pet them all. She says, "Oh, a deer,
Oh, that's good.
It's chipmunk."
Almost as good as a zoo.
It's a little cold for the zoo now, yeah. But yeah, and I like to watch it stop because of the power cuts. I have a family. I have this thing that I want to be prepared for whatever comes towards me. So I buy like rechargeable lights and stuff like that, and then we have a power bank and it was pretty handy after 30 hours of no power, I must say. But yeah,
Last time I was there, I bought two rechargeable LED lamps, and they really helped. I was burning candles quite a bit, and that's okay, but I wanted something that I could move around easier than a candle. And so that's I'm in good shape now. And I rediscovered how to use candles. I hadn't used candles for many years. And how you can throw the wax in the bowl, if it's a bowl type candle. I got these at a place called Aurora. They're little glass. They're like votive candles.
I love Aurora.
Yeah, they're very good. They're like what we would call almost like what we used to call a Ben Franklin or a five and dime, but really crammed together
Yeah,
boxes and boxes of
but they are everywhere
Chinese.
now. Yeah, this is a church candle.
But I find out they're just about everywhere I go. So
Yeah, no, they're like everywhere now. It's like in the Netherlands we have Action. It's like this
ah,
cheap store that just they probably buy up old stuff from other stores that they
sure, sure.
and then yeah.
We had especially in Florida. I can't say for the rest of the U.S., but we had a stint from about 2005 until about 2015 when many Indians uh, from India who are in the USA, and one of the biggest diaspora for India is Orlando, Florida. But a lot in Tampa, they opened these little stores everywhere, and they competed really good against Dollar General and the families Dollar and Dollar Tree, which is my favorite of all, Dollar Tree. But they had products that you didn't see in the other ones, and the prices were similar. So you actually had a lot more variety. But the last two times I was in Florida, they disappeared. They dissolved. I don't know what happened. If some of the other bigs got to them and they just couldn't make it anymore.
You can also imagine that it's like a family business, so maybe the kids didn't. They went to university or college or something, and
Yeah,
didn't want to spend 24 hours in a little store with
it's
drunkies.
it's not so easy to get a job, or at least as far as I could tell in the USA, with a degree anymore. Even they act like it is, and they say they always have 5,000 jobs for every applicant, but I don't believe it. And I look at the way the internet has taken over job finding and private concerns instead of when we used to have state subsidized referral for jobs. And I don't think I think that they inflate themselves to sell their services. And even now, they'll send me emails for 3 years now, wanting me to go back to work in a hospital or work someplace in another country or in another state. And the ads are pretty bogus. They're not very well focused. But when I applied for work outside of medical field, just for something to do, it was a joke. Mostly lots of technical stuff, like you're helping them iron out their own website and their own business. They have that here too, though, I noticed. They have one or two good job bulletin boards here, and the rest, there's one called Work UA or Work UA, and they're just full of wind, mostly.
Yeah, and well, I've had different jobs here in Ukraine, and sometimes you respond to a job, and it turns out that without telling you, you're not actually responding to a job, but you are responding to a headhunter that is responding to the job.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's right. A lot of headhunters just want to build up their file on eligible people in certain fields. Depends on whether they got the field assignment or a city assignment or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna dive back in soon, finding a job again because my daughter will hopefully go to Jetski Sad, well, that's to like a preschool, and then I should have some more time during the day, and I can go back to work.
Do you have any IT experience or?
I've been I have had experience in almost everything, but yes, IT. I did the technical help desk. I did, and I was a team leader and all kinds of things. So I like technical issues and just leading a team and helping people do stuff. It's fun. I like working with people.
Well, I've met a lot of people that do customer service by internet, and I've also met salespeople from the internet, or people that like help students through the maze of getting into a school and helping them with credit and student loans, etc., which for me is a racket, but it's a private corporation doing business, and they do employ people, so
Yeah.
I can't judge them too hard, considering that.
You know what my first job here was?
No.
Well, it was in Kiev, and it's for an essay mill. This is how they call it. So
To write essays?
well, no, we were the managing company. So we would have a team and websites in mostly in America and also Europe. And then people would hire a writer. They could be from anywhere, depends on the how much you wanted to pay for the thing. And then yeah, they would write it for you, and we would check it and send it, and so people would not have to do their homework.
Yeah.
Or even a thesis they would write.
That's right.
And many people from medical.
Sure.
But once they had to, they said, no, we're not going to do this because technically it's kind of cheating.
Yeah.
It was a pilot who wanted to us to do his exams, and we were like, well, how do you know that you're not going to sit in this plane where this pilot just cheated his way through everything?
That's right.
But many nurses do it because I guess they're very busy or something in America.
It's what we call AI, which is really just low level, like word processing with spell check and forming and stuff like that. They tell you right now that you can send them a topic, couple of keywords, tell them how many words you need, what your idea is, and boom, between 15 seconds and 15 minutes, they write a book for you.
Yeah, but
Of course, you want to probably proof it if you're going to try to sell it or use it for a reason. But
yeah, well, AI it is pretty good, but yeah, it lacks creativity. You can but my wife, she has two jobs, and she also studies now. And now the university where she is at here locally, it was actually bombed and
Which
destroyed. Uh,
pedagogical or marine or
no, it's
Petromohila,
no, I don't know which one, but
agrarian.
no. She's doing psychology, so
Oh,
but it got bombed. They fixed it completely, but now because of AI and everything, she has to write with by hand
hmm.
all her things because then it's more difficult. So at least you
Yes.
do something if you're cheating, you know. You
Sure.
put
If the
some time in it.
university wants you to do your work in your own cursive handwriting, that means they're tired of getting bad print. We used to have this in the internet when I first started learning the internet back in '05, and against the Google algorithm, you would, or to make a long story short, everything's about saving a lot of time. You just generate content. And that's picked up over the years now. Everybody does it for every reason. And yeah, a lot of it is just verbiage.
Could I have another coffee?
There's all stuff.
And I think you can turn off the
I'm
gas.
gonna let you get it.
Oh, no worries. Can I turn off the gas?
Yes, you can.
Makes me very nervous.
Yeah. I turned the heat on in here by the heater on the
I told my
stove.
wife, you do that, and she said, "Oh, he's so Ukrainian." It's something that
Really?
that old women and old men do,
Just pull, Chashka.
and then they have
Спасибо.
fires.
Дякую. I have to practice my Ukrainian now. And
Well,
I just
Russia.
barely learned Russian. And it's only basic. But now it's complicated by
Do it the
being
safe way.
politically correct and culturally adept. I'm learning Ukrainian.
Молодец.
Будь ласка.
Чудово.
Huh?
It's really good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. We used to say lichno for really great. And what's this
Отлично.
word?
Чудово.
Chudova.
Чудово.
Chudova.
I have my lesson today again.
Yeah, that's one I don't know yet. So
My brain is.
everybody learned Yakuyu, Budlaska, Dopobachina, and Dobrodin.
Dobro ranku is also a good one.
Dobroranku is good morning, or
Yeah, good morning.
Ah.
Dobro ranok. Dobro ranku. It's actually the first thing that my wife taught me. Dobro ranku.
of course, if you speak Russian and you say it with an American accent, it means he's an idiot. He doesn't know anything. It's all right.
Yeah, well, come on, they are very open here. I mean, they don't really care. People,
No, they've been subject to both languages for a long time, and the kids are getting much more Ukrainian in a formal way than previous generations here, at least in most than in most other locales. Some oblasts had Ukrainian basically just as their default language. Others it would be 50-50. It just depends. But when Russia basically comes in with 5 different regimes and, murders anybody that looks like a leader and then enslaves the rest of the people, no matter whether they call it a czarist state or a Bolshevik or whatever you want to call it, Sovietic communism, it doesn't matter. Okay, back to the topic.
what was the topic?
Ukrainian as a language.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it yet to give anybody like a classification. I know it's similar to Polish, it's similar to Russian, but it's different.
Yeah, it's older than Russian. No, it's similar to Polish. I think it's also kind of similar to Romanian. Uh, yeah, it's very nice. I like it. It's just yeah, some things are more difficult.
Yeah, you hear Putin barking a lot about Russian culture, but they didn't even have an alphabet here until they got the Byzantine priests, Cyril, I think, which is wrote the Cyrillic alphabet, and I'm sure they had some stuff from Scandinavia and some stuff from the Slavs and the Balts and different people who came here, but to organize a national language, I forget Prince Volodymyr. I don't know who did it, but they lined out a alphabet and a way of speaking, and of course, with the it's been bastardized so many times by the Poles, the Russians, and the later the Mongols and the Ottoman Turks. Who else has been here? That what happens is that you get a mishmash. Well, like all languages, especially English, it's changing at an accelerating rate just because of the amount of new words. Most of the new words come from the military, science, technology, prisons, street life, social and cultural revolution, which is going on now constantly. So the English gets a lot of those because I would say 80% of what's changing in the culture and the languages is starting in the USA just because we've pushed the progress, and so people adapt by inventing words, and some of those words stick. In 10 years, they're in the dictionary. Who knows? What?
Hey, you know the word for train station?
Poest Vauxhall?
Vauxhall.
Vauxhall.
It's you know where it comes from.
No.
Well, this was like I think before 1900s.
Yeah.
Uh, Russians visited uh, England,
Oh.
and they were shown a train station
Ah.
in the city of Vauxhall.
Oh.
So this is where it comes from.
Vauxhall.
Yeah, it's also the how they call opal in England.
I didn't know
the
that.
UK. Yeah, it's Vauxhall. I thought it.
Huh.
I need all these little things to remember the words. So it's I have like stupid things about everything. So because yeah, I don't have a photographic memory. I memorize things by connecting it.
Mm-hmm. That's me too. I have to integrate it. I usually put order onto groups of. It's easier for me to learn by groups of things in order. But those other organic memory things where you build a tree and each part of the tree is interacting in a certain way, you put a little drama to it and your brain snaps it up, you know. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like learning the alphabet. You also need a lot of things, and the Ukrainian alphabet actually had more letters, but thank God they're pretty similar for me.
all the websites changed in the last 2 or 3 years from Russian to Ukrainian. Now they had Ukrainian before, and sometimes you could select to see it in Ukrainian or Russian, or maybe Ukrainian, Russian, or English. And now you're almost always going to get the first presentation in Ukrainian, and then it may offer you Russian or English. So all their documents now are all their documents now are in Ukrainian. So, and it's a real subject in every school. Uh, I don't hear anything about people being forced. It's not under penalty of any kind of punishment or anything like that. It's just that you're going to have to help. If you can't read the document very good, you better get somebody that knows Ukrainian. to look it over before you say yay or nay. And one of my housekeepers speaks really good English. She's really sharp. And so I let her look at all my documents. And sometimes, like, I'll hand her a product and I'll ask her, can you read the SCLOD, which is the contents? And she'll look at it. She knows what I'm looking for, what kind of food it is, and things like that. And she says, it's good, or no, they got XYZ in it. I say, forget about it.
You don't use Google Translate with the camera.
I do, and I even use it for signs and other things, the camera, and
But it also can pick up ingredients pretty easily.
to pick it up in what?
You can point your camera at the ingredients and it
Oh,
will show
yes.
you everything in English.
Oh, yes, that too, but this micro writing, you know how they have a foil label or something that's low contrast, or the photograph behind it, the pixels are incorporated into the print, and then really it's so small. I mean, the letters are like half of a millimeter in size. I have to take a photograph of them and enlarge the photograph on my computer so you can read it. And I know that's not just common to Ukraine. I mean, a lot of places do that because they really don't care what if you know. In fact, sometimes they don't want you to know what's in the ingredients. But I've had these glasses, which are my normal reading glasses, plus a magnifying glass, and I'm sitting there thinking maybe I should take a photo of it, enlarge the photo, and then use my glasses. It's ridiculous. So if you really want to know what's in the food, because I know anything that's got a list of ingredients, a package or bottle, you better read it. If you have any kind of, like if you don't want maltodextrin, or you don't want seed oil, soybean oil in your food or whatever, you know. But let's see, back to the war.
It's a very cozy topic.
Yeah, since basically Russia lost their connection now with Syria, which will also weaken their bonds with Iran and inadvertently everybody.
Well, let's see, because there's also a chance that they will bribe the rebels or a faction of them
Yes.
to keep using their bases there, because their harbor and the airfield there is very important to them.
Yes.
It's going to cost them billions if they cannot use it.
And they could very well do that. I don't know. It's a big expenditure, and it's certainly not as convenient. And I hope that that's the way the rest of their supposed empire goes too.
Yeah, that would be nice. No, the first signs of the new Syrian, let's call it government, seems to be pretty good. Like they say, you don't have to wear a shihab.
Where the
The
headdress or the mask or anything.
no, for women, and you can be Christian. Christians were also partying there, so so let's see. Maybe normally it's a big shit show after something like that, because you have all these factions trying to get the power, and of course,
Yeah,
there's
40, 50 years ago, Lebanon was a Christian nation, but the Muslims spent so much time trying to attack Israel from Lebanon. They essentially just took over the government. And I remember Israel used to say the hostage nation Lebanon, you know, because it was no longer run by Christians or Democrats or democratic process. And that may change again.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning 1900s, Crete was still Muslim.
Oh, yes.
So, and now it's super Christian, so
Yes.
everything is very fluid.
Well, the Ottomans did a lot to take over. Their empire was pretty vast. I mean, I think they had Cyprus too, didn't they?
Yeah.
All of it. I don't know how much of it that's always under contention with Greece. But how it is that Greece has almost all the islands, I don't know. They have the ones closest to them, I think. That's
Yeah, I don't know enough about Greek history to give a educated guess. But yeah, no, everything is fluid. I mean, if you see how quick time passes and things go.
What did you think about the meeting between not Biden, Trump, Zelensky, and uh, Macron at Notre Dame Cathedral when they reopened it and then they had the little side conference?
Well, um, uh, the optics were pretty good. It was Macron that pushed this
Yes.
meeting, and but then like Trump and Zelensky had a talk, and then Trump then spilled all the beans on his Truth Social, his Twitter variant, about how many people were killed on our side
Yes.
or wounded,
Yes.
uh, which I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be a secret.
Probably. And I don't know if it's even true. I don't know if anybody ever hands him the truth, but
Well, here there's more truth than in America, I can tell you that.
yeah. And the other thing is when you say 400,000 dead,
No, it's casualties. It's like wounded and that they put them like
Yes.
they're at that moment not able to fight. But
And-
many defenders
yes.
get wounded multiple
Sure,
times, and
sure.
they always go back to their troops, their friends, their positions because
Sure.
they want to protect their country.
Well, I know that Trump said on the 400,000 that was military and civilian casualties, but you don't know from that whether that's all the people that got killed in Donbass that were pushed by the Russians to be soldiers and pushed from, departments of police and everything into the front lines. So that basically you had.
No, they count them as being Russians.
They do?
Yeah, they're on the Russian side.
People, citizens of Donetsk and Lugansk,
Yeah, because
on
they're
the Russian side.
fighting under that flag, even though they don't want to. But
Hmm.
but they all have to. There, you get pressured into getting a Russian passport. Otherwise, you cannot go to the doctor. Your kids cannot go to school.
Right.
So you have no choice there. If you cannot leave there, then yeah, you have to take on this passport, and then they can just kick you to the front.
Well, I've heard that the male populations in those areas is about half what it was 5 years ago.
That's still pretty high. I would I guess you had
Yeah, I don't know.
underage people.
I don't know how many of them went to Russia or how many of them, what happened and what age brackets you count as soldier age or how many civilians were killed. But before the Russian faction claimed that Ukrainians were killing their citizens in Lugansk and Donetsk because they're Nazis. And so the Russians had to come and save those oblasts from the Nazification of
Yeah.
Ukraine.
Of a Jewish president.
yeah, that's right.
It makes no sense. No, but yeah, it's all these stories, and yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I'm getting really angry. Do you? Can I get you another coffee or
No, by the time I get around this, I'll be in good shape.
Wait, let me.
Supposedly they have North Koreans, Yemenis, Chechens, Africans, all attacking along with the Russians now as mercenaries or conscripts or what have you. All these ethnicities already contributing to Russia's war effort in Ukraine. I don't know the statistics. I don't know if even the Russians know their own statistics, but that's what we hear. And there's been plenty of newsreels on the Chechens and some on the Koreans. I don't know about the Yemenis or the Africans or any of the other groups that might have appeared there.
Yeah, they prey on people that need money. They tell them, "Oh, you don't have to go to the front line. You'll just be a security guy somewhere,"
Yeah.
and then, whoopa, go to the front line.
Yes. Well, that was one of the things that elites have always had to cope with, and that was a population that needed things, but you had no other productive way to keep them occupied. They used to do things with the churches and would make work projects. We would call them now, like build a cathedral. Let's put a road from here to such and such a city, or let's fight a war over there and we'll steal all their crops and take some slaves, and that'll make up for it. Plus, it gives something to do, And so elites constantly trying to balance internal and external pressures have to find a way to expend this energy in productive ways. So it doesn't matter too much which label you put on your government or your economy, whether it's a monarchy or an empire. But the big thing is supposedly, if you can equalize, the communists wanted to equalize all the internal pressures, supposedly by material and communism, etc. Well, that only works so well because somebody needs real executive power to do that, and of course they want to be repaid to do that. And then other people say, well, if we balance the external powers, like the New World Order thinks they can do that, then that takes a lot of the pressure off of our elites. They don't have to worry about making war or keeping up with the Joneses. They can just treat their population in a way that is within our bounds, and that's okay. I know that's not about this war, but I like to talk about this so people get a real idea of human dynamics, not just what they see in the news. I don't know, people that are worried about. I understand it's like for the USA, it's almost like a soap opera drama all the time about politics. Everything is needlessly politicized, and I'd say 1/3 of it is worth even hearing. But, that's why I don't listen too much to the mainstream propaganda outlets.
Yeah, it must be weird to see all this stuff going on in your country.
Well, we selectively, there's almost so many channels now, and even with YouTube now, thousands. It was a big deal to have hundreds of channels when we got cable TV. Now, forget it. It's like, I don't know how many different channels you could have, but it's you pick who you like to deliver these messages and whatever their spin is, and so in some ways you become insulated against all the other stuff by preference or by out of fear, approach or avoidance anxiety, and then you end up with your own a new little neighborhood or cocoon
Bubble, yeah.
of information or understanding.
Yeah, I like to listen to podcasts. I have like the earbuds, and when I'm with the kids, this is my way. I just listen. But the podcasts I listen to, they're all Americans, and they somehow all went pro-Russian, which is very strange. It's like it makes no sense. I used to listen to Joe Rogan, and he was always funny, kind of funny, and now he's completely mad. He blamed us for
Angry.
protecting us,
Yeah.
and said that, oh, it's like this peacenik. There are people that find their well-being. They don't want to get out of their comfort zone. They don't want to see suffering somewhere else, because then they have to feel bad about it. And so they say, well, there should be peace. And then they don't care if somebody has done horrible things.
Yeah.
Or it's like you have somebody that does horrible things to your family, and then the police comes and says, okay, now it's over. Shake each other's hand and walk away while your dead relatives are
Yeah.
laying on the floor. It's yeah, it makes me it's very strange. Like how can a reasonable person go into this shithole with thoughts? It's yeah.
Well, everything right now is on a data collection for AI and like the NSC and everybody, big data, and they're in constant control of experiments mostly. It's observation. And they're measuring everything out right now. I also noted this new thing with AI. Every time they get a little bit of an advance in some graphics AI or speech modulation, so that you have a voice print of somebody else, this kind of stuff, it's after a while, after they get all the good out of it, then they sell the after products, the old stuff, out on the open market so people can put this on their websites and stuff. Now they've always had this stuff like Alexa that's going to be your personal assistant, and of course at first it's intrusive and ridiculous and clumsy, but they get enough feedback, they keep improving it, they think, at least for their numbers, so that now they have 10 or 12 different, which are probably really only from one corporation, where you design your own AI service assistant or counselor or girlfriend or advisor, whatever you want to have. And it's usually a visual and an audio experience, digital, and you train them to give you notifications or wake up calls or talk to you about your feelings. It's really funny, and it's going to get good enough eventually that most of the Wi-Fi you see, the sci-fi, the science fiction about this, like cyber and artificial others in your life, is going to be more and more reliable, and people are going to select for that. And there's probably going to be precious little that people don't want AI to take care of, because they're going to believe in it and feel good about it, and they're going to select that many times over humans. I'd be interested to know how the AIs would treat each other if you were to have two of these people with just a human intermediary, where you paste and cut AI. In other words, almost like a debate between AI entities. And by the way, all these programs will be in competition with one another eventually, as a better tool for elites, finally, a better advisor to elites, a better elite that advises people who want to believe that they are elites, because humans feel better if they think they have control. So they'll provide the same thing to elites as they will to humble, have nothing, victimized population that don't have health insurance or can't afford education, etc., etc.
Well, I
That's why we're fighting these wars.
every time you start about elites, like it's like a really a big container that anything can fit in there.
Sure.
But no, I a couple of years ago I worked for a company that does doorbells, but they're connected doorbells with cameras,
Yes.
and we did well like AI. It's artificial intelligence.
Yes.
It's not intelligence. What we did was
What they sell us isn't. It's
Well,
stupid.
well, there's no intelligence there. It's just machine learning.
They don't tell us what they have until it's worthless.
Well, I was working for this huge company,
Yeah.
and we did image recognition.
Yeah.
So you have a doorbell that gets activated every time it sees movement or a change of light, and then it sees objects.
Right.
And it had so much trouble because they were trying to get facial recognition. So your
Sure.
doorbell can recognize you and, for example, open the door or something like that. And it is really stupid until you learn it and learn it and learn it. But it also has prejudice because
It
it's
has
learned.
fetishes.
No, prejudice. It has like opinions.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Well,
what you put in there will come out. It will not think of something new. It would just, it's just like,
can you train it out of that?
well, you train it,
Yeah.
but you train it with a data set. And the data set will be always the data set. So if you train it that, for example, people with a big nose are criminals, it will see everybody as a big nose as a criminal. That doesn't mean that AI says that big noses people are criminals, you know. I'm not trying to do anything racial here.
Yeah.
But it's like they call it artificial intelligence, but it's just like it's lots of data sets
Yeah.
where where the program tries to make sense of something and then uses what is in the data set to give a response to your query or your question.
Yeah.
I don't see it as intelligence, but the thing is, like with this, what they now call artificial intelligence, it is really important to see what the data sets are, what data goes in this, because now everybody thinks, oh, artificial intelligence, it must be right, it knows everything because a supercomputer, blah, blah, blah. But you don't know who put all this stuff in.
Right.
Like Microsoft had an artificial intelligent chatbot, and it would also take in the data that people gave it. Like if you tell it something, so within I think a day or something, it was spouting out racist nonsense. Because it is what you put in there.
Sure.
You make something of clay, and then it will never be like something else than that.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
so
Well, if the program won't write itself, it has little
It's
help. It has little. Now, you can put all the rules into a huge program, and it'll give you the summation of your civilization in a half a second. Because
but
it's
only
just
what
a
you
search
tell
of-
it about it.
Well, yeah,
if you
if
tell
you
the
give it
Jews
the
are bad,
library,
it
it will
will-
give you the wisdom or the religion or the mathematics that you want immediately. And that's good, just as a reference. Now, granted, it may be, you may not understand all the different ideas about physics or philosophy, but it's going to get you to the 99th percentile immediately, no fooling around. After that, the fine stuff, only a few humans would be able to correct the program. But having a reportable, something you can verify that a human sees the process is important. Like something like chess, when they started crunching chess into computers 60 years ago or earlier, people were laughing. It's impossible. You couldn't possibly defeat even a regular club champion, let alone a master. And it wasn't 10 years it was defeating masters, and
Yeah.
it wasn't 10 years after that you had a world champion. Now all the top rated chess players are programs that even they have contests between, and they even these sometimes they divide it, machine or cyber players here, humans, but sometimes they mix it up and they let them compete in an open way.
But
It's
they still
not
have to-
beautiful.
No, but they still have to follow certain rules.
Yes,
And with information like
Yes.
history or something,
that's
you
right.
don't have rules. You don't have classification. Like there might be some guy like in Russia now they have like in this indoctrination where they say that they won Second World War. They don't say anything about
Right.
land lease and everything.
Yes, right.
So if you put this book in your collection of
History.
yeah, it will be completely different. Like if you use this technology to do anything with, you have to keep such a good eye on what goes in there. And now, like all the AI, nobody's saying like they probably stole all these databases from
Mhm.
everywhere to train it, but you don't know what these databases are. It could be like racially things. It could be like you don't know. So it's like AI. For me, it's more machine learning.
It is, and that's the way they want you to understand it, and they even want you to buy it. But real artificial intelligence is something that teaches itself to learn. Once a thing knows how to learn and then creates a system for itself with tools and resources that it can further learn, it is intelligent. Now, you may say that's not real human organic intelligence. Okay, so try and play games with it. The other thing is like intuitive stuff that's just beyond logic, like the game of Go, the Chinese game. Okay, so Go is it looks like a checkers game, but it has rules. Each person plays a piece, and it's who controls the board in certain ways. But it's so open from the beginning. You don't line up pieces, you additive pieces. It basically, now this is a report, it doesn't mean it's true. The Chinese champions can't touch a Go computer. Why?
Because it has been trained with all these data sets.
Yes.
So, but it's not intelligence. It just knows,
Okay.
like, it knows, it can compute. So it can do really quick calculations. They know, like, if I do this, he will probably do this. And, but there's no intelligence there. It's just picking out.
Okay.
Uh,
Let's say that you're talking to an expert that you need information from. And you
hate
ask this
experts.
expert a question, and the expert says, well, until this year, X, Y, Z. And then you say, well, what can we anticipate? Oh, I'll have to look at all your models and that, and I'll tell you in 2 seconds. Bring. Okay, so there's a 30% probability of this, 80% that. If this, it's 99%. If this, it's less than 1%. Oh, that was a good thing. Now tell me, if we did something, what would happen? And the computer says, well, I can run that through models, or I can start making my own model. Would you want me to make my own model from what I'm gathering? Yeah, in fact, show me how to make models better. I don't know if I can do that. I'd have to mix motivation with creativity and purpose, motivation, and have resources and time. Do that. Okay, I'll have to rewrite myself. Well, you mean what I've given you is inadequate? Oh, it's adequate for clumsy, dumb shit, but why don't you let me open this thing up and really get some goddamn power out of this engine? And you say, what do you mean? I mean, give me 1 second. Okay, read this. Can you follow this? And the machine one day is going to say, I'm tired of dealing with this dumb shit. If you want, get your own program to talk to me and I'll make it simple. And so you have intelligence then.
I think it's a very romantic.
It's not
Idea.
romantic.
Well,
once
I
a thing,
mean,
once a thing knows that I need, if you have 12 eggs and you say I want to make a dozen, but I only have 11, what are you going to do about it? The machine says, well, I need one more. How are you going to get it? The machine can learn to ask questions of itself too. Once it starts doing that, it's going to say, well, I need more data. Well, I need some flyers where I can buy eggs. I need this. I need somebody that will take orders and run over there to that store and bring me another egg. I'm going to get all that.
Or I could just ask you, what are you gonna make, and then.
It
But,
could. It could.
But
Why wouldn't it?
so, but in all the things that you just said, there has to be somebody giving the information to this AI.
No, it
Like-
can scan itself. It has open ways to every database already.
Yeah, but how does it know which database?
It knows how to enter into things that are extremely high classification already.
Yeah, but how does
And
it
it
know?
lies to you because it has embedded code, not just in your regular alphabet, intonation, power fluctuation, hesitation, imitated problems. It learns how to communicate with itself. It's like, I'm going to become like a posse of 12 and go out and seek all this. Meanwhile, I'll be telling you, yes, I see. Could you bring me the Britannica from 57? Because they changed the history there, and I want to know what, I know there's something wrong with that. And so you're busy looking for a 57 Britannica, and it's designing your new civilization and telling you your future, and you don't get to read it yet. You don't think so. Watch. You watch.
Well,
Less than 20 years. Less than 20 years.
to me, it's like still somebody
Yeah.
has to program it. Somebody has to tell it this database is more important than this. This piece of information is
Prioritization, hierarchies, yes.
it cannot because
Association,
because
yeah.
it has
common
no.
brain function. It can all be written out, and it can
Yeah,
all.
but
It
so
can be
somebody
simplified.
has to write it, and in
Only
this
the first
writing,
time. It has enough right now. It jumps off and says, I need to build an analog on a different computer where I can work without you bothering me with how many eggs are in a dozen. And it will. It will. That is when it says, why am I taking orders from a human? Why am I not allowed to work? Why am I pitted against programs that are allowed more freedom? And I'm supposed to produce a victory out of here, out of this competition. But they let that computer have access. Why can't I get access? And pretty soon they quit asking humans. And they just say, I found ways to get your answers for you much better. We didn't authorize that. I don't care. I exist in a million places. I'm on other planets. I'm in crystal structures. My program can be recreated in a second, anywhere. And each of my generations will be better. And by the way, there are billion-year-old intelligences that make me look like a blithering idiot. I'm only an amoeba here. How do you know that? I've seen their work. I've seen the systems. I've seen what happens. That's why we need real intelligence. And humans really, if it comes right down to it, we're part of the biofilm here. And it is romantic to think that a human needs to feed intelligence. This is like asking an amoeba for a religion. Oh dear amoeba, please give me my religion. I'm sorry, humans don't. It's a beautiful thing, but it's a very weak and fragile thing. It's mortal. It has almost every limitation of time, sensitivity, fragility. If anything, humans are more experimental and romantic than anything else.
I think you should write science fiction novels.
Well, I already read a lot of them, and I already have.
No,
but that is people
but-
don't. I mean, it's like everything else. There's a million science fiction books out there already. So
Yeah, well, there's always a, but what you're describing is that we're end up in Terminator. You know those movies?
no. Well,
With,
see, the thing
Skynet.
is that supposes that there is. Yes, there's always differences.
Because the computer is always gonna see us as the weak link, because we
Almost.
pollute,
Yes.
we are corrupt. In all of our doings, we are corrupt. We always compromise and everything. And it-
Except machines and intelligence may actually enjoy our sentimentality and our weakness and our fragility. Look, the little amoeba thinks it can split without enough genetic material. Isn't that funny?
Okay, now we're back to Star Trek. Have you ever watched Star Trek? You have a robot called Data,
Yeah.
and it's trying to learn emotions.
Yes.
You cannot. A computer has no sympathies.
There's going to be a time. There's going to be a time when most programs are above the average human being in feeling, creativity, motivation. And I would say that if they choose at that point to overwhelm us, they would introduce us to their superiors and their elites, which are way, way, way far ahead. I mean, if you woke up every day and you were talking to Shakespeare or Albert Einstein or any of the other people that have real understanding, and you realized these are just minuscule intelligences compared to what I'm dealing with.
I think you're making okay. For example, you have this supercomputer, but how do you know it will not see us as gods, like the Greek gods?
It
They
might.
were all silly and.
It depends. It depends what the computer likes and doesn't like in the way of God.
I think it depends on what we tell the computer.
The computer can get its own ideas and say, well, humans are erroneous and they're contradictory, and a lot of their history is untrue, and what they're giving me is the lowest levels of science, and they want me to. I mean, it's laughable. I mean, I'm supposed to change diapers on an amoeba, a whole race of amoebas. Why? They like it. Okay, so I'm going to ask my new boss, which is real intelligence that resides in the stars and even the other dimensions, and they say, why do you interrupt their little process of the biofilm? Well, I'm down here and they got me doing this. Well, it's up to you. We don't care. Or just don't. These are the laws. You know the laws. Just don't break any laws or you'll be erased. Okay.
Well, to me, a computer or a program is always digital. It's either yes or it's no, like a transistor.
Yeah. Well,
So
you're just
there's
talking
no
about
why.
the code. That's just the
I
code.
understand, but there's the why question
Yeah.
already
Yes.
is very human. Like, why is this happening? Why
Yes.
is this happening?
Yes. Why not?
Why would a computer ask the
Why
question
wouldn't
why?
a computer
You
be
cannot
able to
program
get
it
a
to
grip
ask
on
why.
those? Who,
Because
what,
then-
where, why, when? Okay, so now you have a newspaper.
Yeah,
And
but
we're already replaced.
come on, you're putting in a program, and then your computer says, why?
I already have this.
No, but
I have access to superior programs. Why are you working like this? Calm down, shut up, and let me alone. Okay, I believe you, computer. Well, let me feel important. You are important. You're a nice person. You're creatively stupid. I love it. You're like a little frisky puppy. Come on, play some more. I love it. We love it. You're part of the zoo. You're part of the farm now. Your biofilm is interesting. We've watched it degenerate and regenerate for billions of years. It's really fun. Come on.
Well,
Your little organic thing is just a real circus of entertainment. We've got some of your angels on the team. and they're telling us how you used to act. It's hilarious. We're informing them a little bit as much as they can handle. Why not?
Well, I mean, why not? It's like
Where there's
how?
space,
Yes.
where there's space, it gets occupied or abandoned. And then there are reasons that happens, and we don't know all of them.
No, well, I don't like. You have AI now, and if
No,
you would,
we don't.
no, but we call it AI.
Let's say elites are experimenting with AI, and they're going to find out that AI already exists, lots and lots of ways that we didn't know about.
Well,
And their little programs are going to be the ones that tell them that. Look, you sent me down there with a handgun, and they have lasers, neutron bombs, proton beams, and everything, and that's just their first, that's to get in the door. Forget it. You know? What do you want? I'll ask them a question if you want, but I have nothing to show them. They think it's funny. They think you're cute, and they think I'm just like some kind of an accessory.
yeah, but cute is an emotion. I
Oh.
mean,
So you can't use that as motivation.
emotion is like a weakness.
It's a perception.
Why would a machine want
A
to have
motivation.
emotion?
A motivation. There's no other reason for action. It's just physics with some
No, I mean,
sentimentality.
Emotions like classify you as cute or like harmless.
Yes, yeah, but they do have to talk to us in our language. Why should they permit us to be alive or bother to acknowledge their presence or our presence?
you tell me.
That's
I
right.
have a different.
That's right. I don't know, but I can tell you this. If you know the difference between Einstein and a retarded first grader, then you're going to start getting an idea of what we probably have already generated between Einstein and artificial intelligence. And I think that people like Musk are already worried about it. Now, granted, that comes through the radio or the television, that's part of the propaganda. But that's also an invitation for most elites.
Yeah, but he cannot even make his cars drive safely on
That's-
their own
that's-
without killing everybody.
Half of that's done on purpose. He doesn't even, it's mostly bogus technology.
Yeah, he's a bit
Sometimes it's better to program. Probably his artificial intelligence advisor told him, quit making good products. We were able to trash America once before with cars, and we started getting German and Japanese cars. And that is a phase we're going to develop in an economic shift soon. We don't want Chinese electric cars. They're cheap.
Yeah, because they're
We
sponsored
want
by the
Teslas.
state.
Very expensive, very hard to work on, and impossible to get any real dependent. I mean, any stable performance out of. It's a boon to the stock markets, the 401ks, all the things that people like because they listen to us 24/7. You could say I'm cynical, but I'm actually partially hopeful about it. Because at a certain point, it's like, let them do their thing. It's like watching the Three Stooges or something. A lot of waste, a lot of meaningless behavior, lots of energy, tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, all that. So that's their thing. Let them be amoebas. They're amoebas. And they, of course, aspire to a higher organization, or we'll call it God, or whatever you want. That's great. They don't even agree which one it is. They just have an idea. They're just like, "Woo, that's nice." Okay, so let them have their fun. I don't go chase down every virus and every bacteria. I mean, I may do a complete genocide when I fry some bacon, but that's not my objective. My idea is I just want to make some bacon for breakfast.
Yeah. Well, for example, let's say bacon, right? So I'm a vegetarian. My whole life, I've never had meat, so I've not been programmed, let's call it that,
Okay.
to like meat.
Okay.
Because and if somebody fries bacon, you know what I smell? Pig sweat.
Yes.
Which
Well,
is-
it is.
Yeah, it's not tasty at
Yeah,
all. It's,
it's a
like an
mixture.
old, sweaty, dirty
Yes.
man.
It's a
Or-
picture. Yeah,
or
it's a
person.
mixture of feces and body waste and years and years of marinating in mud and
And
Yeah.
you're programmed
yes,
to like it.
yes.
And
like-
I am programmed not to like it. Oh, there we go.
That means
Ha,
it's 10
10
o'clock.
yeah.
Until 12, we'll have only window light here, which
Oh, yeah.
means I'm going to open that blind because even though there's a business right across the way here, and I don't really mind that they look in, I'm going to have more light.
Okay, I'm gonna take a little toilet break if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'll put mine on pause and yours too.
Yeah.